Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar series. This one is a topic that's top on everyone's mind, and we're seeing huge traction, or rather, huge demand for participants to join us for this particular webinar. Let me first introduce to you whom you're seeing on the panel. We have, first of all, our CEO and our co-founder, Kanan Chetia. And to my right, in the same room with me, I have Siang Tan, who is our business consultant. And joining us online, we have Vince. Vince is our head of marketing. He sits in the Philippines. It's a holiday in the Philippines, so he's taking time off to join us today. And last but not least, our MOM specialist, Floriana, or as we would like to call her, Flo. So let me quickly jump into what we're going to do today. Essentially, we're going to walk you through the entire process for what's going to come online 1st September, right? It's on everyone's mind. We're going to try to demystify the entire process so that you get a better understanding. We'll try and provide as much details as we possibly can. And then we'll show you at the end of the day where Advance will play a role, where we'll come in and we'll ease all the tension by helping you out and getting those qualifications that you so urgently need for your candidates. And last but not least, we'll take questions from you. And again, as Joe has typed out, we welcome all questions that will come on. If you can type it out on the Q&A chat, that'll be great. If not, you can always drop us an email after this, and we'll try our level best to answer all your questions, even if they are not relevant to our business. We'll try and get you all the answers that you need. First and foremost, come 1st September, what's going to happen, right? So all EP applications, be they new applications or renewals, will need to undergo this particular process, right? And this is what MOM has stipulated. Number one, the first step you need to do is to work on the salary, right? And I've provided for you here 2 thresholds. The first one being financial sector, $5,500. So that's the minimum threshold that you need to be looking at if you're hiring someone for EP. Other sectors, a little lesser, 10% down, right? So that's step one. MOM has communicated if you fail to meet this particular step, it's very, very unlikely that your EP pass application will go through, right? So this is critical. The second step that we'll have is this one, Compass. So this new to everyone, even new to us, despite us being in the business for the last two over 3 years. We have been an accredited background screening partner for the MOM. This is a new process which they are putting in place. Again, like I said previously, we're going to demystify what this whole process is going to be. So what is Compass? Compass is MOM's eligibility framework, what they're going to use to determine whether your candidate is eligible for an EP. And there's going to be like 2 basic categories. First, they'll be looking at the individual, right? They call it foundation, and they'll be looking at the individual. 2 components on this. The first one being salary, and the next one, qualifications. So in addition to the individual, they will also be looking at firm-related criteria. And what do we see here? The first one being diversity, and the next one being supporting of local employment. So in addition to these core foundational categories that they will be looking at, they've also provided 2 bonus categories, and we see them here. The first one under the individual, we have skills. Essentially, as it implies, the skill sets of the candidate that you're going to be bringing into play. And the next one, again, very enterprise related, will be the candidate that you're bringing in will bring in skill set that is in line with the economic priorities of Singapore, of course. And this is the big number, 40. That is the minimal pass rate that you need to be getting when you're doing the assessment. And I'll quickly walk through with you each and every category, just to give you a very good overview of what it'll take for each category. The first one being salary. Again, I will be sharing this entire deck, so don't need to be taking screenshots and so on and so forth. I wanted to show you here also, under the MOM salary benchmarks, these are actually links that will bring you to the pages or the PDF copies where you'll literally see the salary benchmarks that are available. They're split into age groups and they're split into the percentiles. So essentially what this means is if you are operating at the 65th percentile and below, you're not going to be getting any points. And what's a really useful tool that MOM has put in place is this one here, a self-assessment tool. Again, this is a tool that you can access in order for you to kind of gauge where you stand in the scheme of things, whether in all likelihood your candidate will pass the mark, or you need to do something more, or you need to leverage, for example, the bonus points that they have in place. The other portion, and I'm moving away from the individual. I'll go back to the individual a bit later. You'll see where advance comes into play. So I'm moving on now into the firm-related so-called criteria or measurements. And this one being diversity, or PMET. I'm assuming that everyone understands what that means, professional managers, engineers. So this is the nationality share. You can see here, I put in a little pointer that if your organization hires less than 25 PMETs, then it's an automatic 10 points for you. So it's a pass, fail, or exceed. There's no middle ground to this, so to speak. And again, what the MOM has done is that they've provided a workforce insights tool. And although I haven't given everyone the access to it, they've actually created a very good and very informative infographic presentation whereby you'll be able to work through and understand from your firm's perspective where you stand in the scheme of things. It's actually a SingPass or CorpPass entry into this insight tool, which is specific to your enterprise, to your organization. And the other portion, which is part of the firm-related requirements, is this one, whether your organization is really into supporting local employment. And again, here, the same sort of default applies. If you're hiring less than 25 PMETs, or you have in your payroll less than 25 PMETs, automatically you get 25 points. And to ascertain your eligibility, so to speak, is suggested or is mandated that you actually get into the workforce insight tools, understand how that works. And now we're kind of moving into the bonus stage of things. So what happens if you fall below the 40 points threshold? You're at 30 points. Then you can look at the skills, the bonus points. And there are two categories. The first, again, having to deal with the individual. The bonus skill sets that you'll bring into play. And I've also, again, here provided a link to a list of occupations which are in short supply as far as the MOM is concerned. Also, if, again, this is a note, your points, although you may be at 20 because it's on the list, however, if your company hires quite a few of this particular nationality as part of your PMET population, then this point will be reduced to 20. Again, if you fail 30, you can make up for it with this bonus point schemes. And moving on, the other portion, which is more, again, related to moving away from the individual, back to the firms, is the economic priorities. Whether at the end of the day, you are involved in a business that's aligned to what the Singapore government is trying to prioritize, to strategize towards building up your strategic economic priorities. The list can be found here. And last but not least, qualifications. Essentially, this is where advance will come into play. And I wanted to give you guys a quick overview, 1 or 2 minutes spiel on who Advance is and what we do. So Advance, got a lot of our clients here and a lot of our prospects here. So you guys are very familiar with what we do. But for those of you that don't, we are a HR technology company, founded and headquartered out of Singapore. And we've been in existence since 2016. And our strength essentially lies with providing our skill sets and our services for compliance-driven industries like banks, insurance companies, the FIs, educational, and even the healthcare. And we have two core service offerings, the first being screening. And in screening, we do this from two angles. Background checks for individuals, which is the requirement for MOM. But we do also do screening in the enterprise space, company due diligence. And last but not least, we are big on consulting also. And as part of consulting, we do training. We provide training services both in the public space and in the private space. So we are authorized training partner, providing services on My Skills Future. And as Singapore citizens, we all get tremendous subsidies from our government to take up courses there. So we run corporate courses there, things like digital transformation, design thinking, strategic sales. But we also run this in the public space. So we conduct one-on-one sessions, coaching sessions, or we can provide hybrid models of training sessions in the classroom as well as online. Here, I'm trying to provide for you a quick overview of who we are. Again, we have 2,000 plus clients, 5 global offices. Singapore, Philippines is actually where our Center of Excellence and Center of Operations is actually sited. We also have representation in Sydney, covering ANZ, in New York, covering LATAM, last but not least, in London, covering EMEA. Again, also want to provide quick look at some of the reviews that we've been getting, accolades for ourselves. This was taken 2 years ago, 9 months ago. Well, it goes towards our ability that we pride ourselves on our ability to respond. In fact, our entire team is kind of geared towards providing quick and prompt response. And we see here Flo being given an accolade here for her service. And this is one of our more recent comments that we've gotten from one of our users. Some more here. The way we've kind of put this is that we're trying to put it chronologically from the oldest, and we're coming into the more recent ones. So going to the qualifications, quite simple actually. Well, at least simple in our eyes, but it may appear quite complicated. But again, we'll try and break it down and unpack it for you here. So qualifications, point system, no degree qualification for EP pass application, so you're going to get 0 for that. Your basic degree qualification, you're going to get 10 points. And as they've stated here, if your candidate has graduated from a top-tier institution, you're going to get 20 points. Like with the rest, I've provided a link here, which we'll share a bit later, on where you can actually determine if your candidate is from one of these top-tier institutions. And you can do that via a self-assessment tool as well that was shared earlier. So what happens? There are actually 2 scenarios here. The first being, institution not found. So what does that mean? That means that when you are doing your self-assessment in the tool itself, and you have determined that the institution does not fall or does not appear in the drop-down list in the self-assessment tool. So if that happens, effectively, you're going to be needing to run 2 checks. First, the authenticity of the qualifications, and the second being the accreditation of the institution. And I'm providing here on the right side the equivalent checks that we have available at Advance. And it's called the education verifications, as well as the institution accreditation. And we have committed to deliver on these checks within 15 business days. So the second scenario, the institution is found. So you've done your self-assessment and you've realized that the institution is in there. If that's the case, the only check that you need to do is the authenticity of the qualifications, which again, in advanced lingo, it is the education verification. And this is what I do. And at this point, I want to take the time to run through with you a quick demo on how you can actually log in and quickly set up a check for yourself as far as the qualifications are concerned, the education qualifications. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing before you is our online screening portal. It's called Screen Global. I'll quickly log in. So once you've logged in, the first page that you kind of be brought to is this one here, under Create a Case page. And of course, there are quite a few other features here, one of it being dashboarding. My team and I can quickly walk through with you the exact features and functionalities of this particular portal if you're interested to move forward with us. So creating a case, all you need to do is scroll down and don't be intimidated by the fact that there's so much open fields here. The only mandatory information we'll need are those denoted by the red asterisks. Get in here, fill in the candidate's name, the candidate's email address, and the candidate's phone number. Once you've done that, you can select your currency. I'm assuming that everyone's from Singapore, but if there's a need for you to see the pricing in other currencies, you can do that here. And of course, for your own tracking purposes, you can include the position being applied for, and you have the ability also to insert like cost centers, so that at the end of the day, when the billing comes back to you, you'll be able to send the cost to the right cost center internally. So once you fill in, for example, the mandatory information above, all you need to do is scroll down, head to the Integrity tab. But obviously, as you can see here, we do have a host of a whole lot of other checks. dealing with due diligence, financial checks, bankruptcy, credit, right? We have ability to run identity checks as well. And under due diligence, some of our more popular checks includes global watch lists and sanctions, OFAC, sex offenders registry also, because we deal with a lot of educational institutions with dealing with young children, criminality, we've got civil litigation and social media. We serve one of the biggest banks in Singapore, and this is a check that they've recently onboarded, drug testing directorship. So again, going back to the MOM specific checks, right? So all you need to do is click on the integrity tab, hit to the section that says education verification. And again, if the institution is not found, you need to be clicking off the second one, which is the institution accreditation check. And again, our portal, very much like an e-commerce platform. You get in here, you choose what you want. And we've provided as much transparency as we possibly can. Costs, turnaround time, scope as well. And the next thing you need to do after selecting the check is kind of go in and select the country that you want to do the check on. So this is to be determined by the qualifications that you're getting. And I'm just scrolling very quickly, but as you can see, there's a host of 100 over countries here. Anywhere from Zimbabwe to Afghanistan, we have the ability to run those checks. Okay. And, just choose the one that's relevant to you. For example, choose an exotic one, Brazil. So what you see here for Brazil is that you got $74.20 to run this particular check in SGD. And for the institution accreditation check, it's a global check. It's a global accreditation, right? So the price is fixed. So unlike the above one where you need to come in and select the countries, all you need to do is simply click on worldwide, right? It's a uniform cost right across the board. One of our more popular checks includes, the employment details verification. This is applicable also, right, for those of you candidates who will be applying for that one category. So a senior individual, your director or whatever, who's going to be making 30 grand and above, this is one of the checks that you need to check off to run on him or her. Once you've selected the check, all you need to do is scroll down and finish up the rest of the questions here. Letter of consent is mandatory. You have the ability to kind of select the data entry that you're looking at. You can create a case and your candidate will be the one filling in all the data, or you can be the one doing it on his or her behalf. Also for individuals, we have this feature whereby you can run the check on yourself. The other three questions are towards, personal preference and governance. Can we follow up with your candidate? You want to be included in email reminders. Last but not least, can we review your company's name? If and when we're asked. After that, click on submit. And what happens when you do that is that your candidate will receive a welcome email from us with his login credentials all set up. All he or she needs to do is to log in. And I wanted to show you the page that he or she will be brought to. And it's this one here. So they'll come in and fill in the categories as required by the check itself. This demo check was for bankruptcy, so there's address information, but essentially for MOM specific, it'll only be this one here, education and the personal information. So they'll come in here and fill in all the blanks again. Once done, the last category will be uploading documents, and they'll see the consent letter here. They'll need to click off on it, sign it off digitally and have it uploaded here. They'll need to upload copies of their ID for identification. Again, copies of their transcripts, their degrees, their diplomas, their certificates, and so on. And save draft, right? So once they save draft, you as a case requester will receive an email from us letting you know that the case is now ready to be checked out. So once you log in, you can head down to cases under ready for checkout cases. Click off on the case that you want to check out on. Select the shopping cart and you'll find the order summary. And this is where they'll give you a summary of all the costs involved and specific to the education, right? You can see here, if it's for Australia, it's XXX here, but it'll be the university's name and the corresponding cost, how much it'll cost you. If it's an IAC or the institution accreditation check, it'll be here as well. You have the total price, and all you need to do is submit the order. Payment can be made via credit card. And of course, we will be happy to have a conversation with you on setting you up with offline payment terms. What that means is that you don't have to be making immediate payment we'll invoice you for completed cases at the end of each month, and you have up to 30 days to make payment on it. Now this case has been moved on to the order stage after you submit the order. Once ready, again, we'll send you an email notice. Just head in, log in under the order processing case under completed orders. You'll find your case here ready for downloads. Okay, so simply download it, then make a submission on MON. Okay, so I hope the demo is clear. Obviously, you know, like I've said before, there are a whole lot of other features and functionalities, but I just wanted to walk you through on the key processes on what you'll be involved with whenever you need to come in and make an application specific for education qualifications. So again, this is the deck and we're coming to the end of this particular session. Wanted to quickly show you also the contact details. Okay, everyone, thanks for the lively interaction, and appreciate you taking time to come and meet with us and also provide all the questions. Again, we'll tabulate all the questions that you have posted, and we will send it across to you so that at least everyone is familiar with everything and all our responses on that. And having said that, if there are any questions that are not related to our business, again, I noticed that some of them are, well, more immigration related and so on. We do have a host of partners that we work with, and we will try and extract those answers for you, and we'll publish them accordingly as well. But again, having said that, please do not hesitate to reach out to us after this event if you do have additional queries that need clarifying or clarification on. I'll be most happy to walk you through. And again, you know, our contact details will be provided. Flo is our resident expert, as you can all hear. And Joe also will be very much involved in the MOM process. And obviously, Kanan and myself will be hands-on on this as well. Okay, so again, our appreciation for everyone taking time to meet with us, and have a great evening ahead. All right, bye-bye.